Discover rugby not just through scores, but through people, courage, and emotions. Sign up for Scrum Masters Elite _UK to experience it together.
Reflecting on the 6th round of the Super Rugby Pacific with a rather slow pace, not just to follow the results, but to truly soak in what happened behind the numbers, I realized more and more that sport, especially rugby, is not just a story of points, but a story of people, of courage, of limits, and of how we surpass them. What stopped me the longest was the moment James Slipper reached a historic milestone. 203 caps. This number is not just a statistic, but a journey spanning years. Through injuries, fluctuations in form, pressure, and even doubt. I wondered, what must a person hold within themselves to reach that point? Perhaps not merely talent, but perseverance bordering on stubbornness. When the Brumbies were trailing 24-7 with only 20 minutes left, by conventional logic, the game seemed over. Yet they came back to win 33-24 against the Chiefs. I don't think it was just strategy or luck. It felt like a collective emotional reaction, when the whole team decided, we cannot let this special day end like this.
That moment made me reflect deeply on the role of emotion in success. People often say you must be rational, maintain control, but sometimes it's emotion, pride, respect for a teammate, that becomes the strongest catalyst. I saw myself in that. There are times when I only push harder when there's a deeply personal reason, not merely duty. An amusing detail mentioned was the image of Chuck Norris, as a symbol of the extraordinary. Though humorous, it reflects a real truth. In sports, sometimes people need an image, a near-legendary belief, to push beyond their own limits. Looking at the Hurricanes' overwhelming 50-7 win over the Highlanders, I felt something completely different. If the Brumbies game was about emotion and a comeback, this game was about mastery. Cam Roigard stood out as a control center. What impressed me was not just the points or statistics, but how he controlled the pace of the game. There are good players, and there are players who make the entire game run after them. Roigard belongs to the latter. Comparing him to Antoine Dupont, I realized it was not just praise, but a positioning. He is moving toward the level of those who can redefine their role on the field. This made me think about the concept of excellence. Excellence is not just doing your assigned task well, it's expanding the boundaries of that role.
I also could not ignore the stark contrast of the Highlanders. From a team with a promising start, they fell into worrying decline. This reminded me of a simple life principle: a good start does not guarantee a good finish. Consistency is the hardest thing to maintain. On another note, the story of Declan Meredith prompted a more personal reflection. He was not a highly anticipated name at the start, even questioned. Yet after just a few matches, he became a key Brumbies player. What I learned here is that opportunities do not always come in clear forms. Sometimes they appear when others are gone, or when circumstances force you to step up. And when opportunity arrives, the only thing that matters is whether you are ready. Meredith did not have a perfect game, missed kicks, failed tackles, but he did not collapse. On the contrary, he exploded at the moment the team needed him most. This made me realize that perfection is not a prerequisite for success. Resilience is the deciding factor. John Bryant's story offers another perspective: quiet impact. 20 tackles may not seem glamorous, but they form the foundation for the Queensland Reds' victory over Fiji and Drua. Some people do not score points or make headlines, but without them, the system collapses. This reminded me of many aspects of life. Not everyone needs to stand in the spotlight, but every role has its own value. One detail that particularly impressed me was Bryant's comment about his role: destroy everything in front to ensure accurate passing. It sounds simple, but it reflects a clear mindset: understand your role and execute it fully.
Meanwhile, Che Fihaki represents sustainable development. He is not an immediate explosive player, but gradually hones his skills, eventually reaching peak career form. This made me realize not everyone needs to burst out early. There are paths that are slow but steady. Lester Fenganuku's appearance from the bench, changing the course of the game, is also a reminder. Impact is not about how long you are present, but how you use your time. Finally, the Blues' comeback against the Warriors provides a clear lesson on adjusting tactics and mindset. Trailing but not panicking, they changed approach and dominated the second half. Torian Barnes is a prime example of seizing opportunity. From a substitute, he gradually became an important contributor. This made me think about the value of patience. Effort is not always recognized immediately, but with persistence, it accumulates into a turning point. Looking back at the entire round, I drew a few clear personal lessons. 1. Perseverance is more important than innate talent. Slipper's journey is the clearest proof. Without perseverance, talent can fade. 2. Emotion, if properly managed, can become a huge motivator. The Brumbies played not only with strategy, but with belief and cohesion. 3. Failure or mistakes are not the end. Meredith showed that what matters is not how many mistakes you make, but how you respond afterward. 4. Quiet contributions are the foundation of all success. Without Bryant, Red's victory would not be secure. 5. Development does not follow a single path. Some explode early, some improve gradually, but the key is to keep moving forward. For fans, this round reminds us that sport is not just entertainment. It is a mirror reflecting life's laws: competition, failure, effort, and overcoming.
Thank you for joining Scrum Masters Elite_UK in soaking in every moment of rugby. See you in the next round to experience courage and emotion together.